single phase induction motor. This is a very important and frequently used motor as far as your household part is concerned. So you can find out this motor in various application at your household application. For example, let me start with the first application. At your home, you are having a mixer, and you are having a grinder. So you are having a mixer, you are having a grinder. So in this type of motor, you are having a single phase series type of motor. Okay, so single phase series type means that is also known as universal motor. Some kind of DC series motor that is also considered to be a single phase universal motor, because whenever you apply a AC or DC, that can be run on that particular supply system. For example, you are having at hand drill at your home, you are having a hair dryer, you are having, let us say, fan. Okay, these all are single phase induction motor. You are having, let us say, very popular, that is a water pumping motor. So these all particular motors are come under the category of single phase induction motor, and these motors are very widely used at your home applications. So let me start with the basic principle, and today we are going to discuss a very important topic, that why this motor is actually not a self-starting. If you observe your fan or if you observe the water pumping, you can always observe one capacitor which was connected with your induction motor. So in today's lecture, we are going to discuss that why we are actually connecting the capacitor, and be specific. The topic that I am going to cover is that why your single phase induction motor is not self-starting. Okay, and this is, remember, as far as your exam part is concerned, this is a very important question and frequently asked question that explain why induction motor is not self-starting. Okay, and maybe possible in some other word they are saying that why induction motor cannot produce a resultant torque at starting, or maybe possible question could be like this, that explain double field revolving theory. So whenever your induction motor is connected with single phase supply, the field that will produce by induction motor is known as a double field revolving theory. So in this particular lecture, we are going to discuss all these things, that what is double field revolving theory, why you are not actually getting a starting torque at single phase induction motor. So let me start with first of all the construction of single phase induction motor. So let us consider this is your stator for your single phase induction motor. Okay, and in your stator generally you are having a distributed winding. Okay, how your distributed winding could be look like? So you can see that this is your single phase induction motor, and you are not having a concentrated winding. Previously what we are having, let us say BLDC motor, or we can discuss a permanent magnet stepper motors and a special kind of machine, we are having a concentrated winding. Concentrated winding is the single phase, whatever the phase, that all the windings will actually distributed on that places only. But right now you are not having a concentrated winding, but instead of that you are having a distributed winding. So this is your stator core of single phase induction motor. And if you observe rotor for your single phase induction motor, then your rotor will exactly look like your three phase induction motor. If you observe very carefully, that your rotor is actually look like a three phase rotor. Now let us focus on rotor part. So this is your single phase induction motor rotor part, and this is your bar. And remember, most of the time this bar is actually made up with your aluminum. Okay, no copper will be used, because single phase induction motor, you know, the cost is a very important factor. If you are having a, let us say, if you use a copper bar, then cost of the machine could be a very high. And the very competitive market, single phase induction motor. So if your cost is very high, even though your quality, or you can say that your efficiency is very high, but nobody will purchase your motor. So that's having a aluminum bar instead of copper bar. Okay, and you are having, this is your hand ring. So this is what squirrel cage rotor that could be using your fan type of, or not fan type, this is actually pump type of applications, or maybe possible some other application. In fan type of application, your stator would be look slightly different. You are having a two winding main and auxiliary that we will discuss later on. So with this, let us shift to our main part. So single phase induction motor. You all will be able to see this diagram, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is my single phase induction motor. So I am having a, let us say, distributed winding. So having some slot. So let me draw some slot. So let me draw here. You are having some cross section view of your conductor. Okay. So this is your cross section view of your conductor. And let us say I am connecting here some single phase AC voltage supply with this particular conductor. So let us say some current will be flowing through this winding. So I can assume that, let us say, in this winding currents are entering. Okay, so if I'm assuming currents are entering, I can represent with dot. And if I'm saying that current is leaving, I can mark it as a cross view. Okay, so let us say this is your cross view where your current is leaving, and finally it will come out with this circuit. Okay, so this is what my diagram will look like. Let me mark cross. This is your all cross. Okay, and this is all your dot. Okay, this is what winding distribution for my stator part is concerned. If I will try to finding out the flux, okay, stator magnetic flux, then it means that my stator magnetic flux psi s would be in this direction. Agree with me? How you can obtain your stator magnetic field? So I will apply my thumb rule. So if this is my direction of current, then my thumb will indicate the magnetic field direction. So I can assume that this is the psi s at which my flux is actually get the direction. So let me consider the first case. Let us say I am applying some AC voltage to this particular machine. So let us say this is the AC supply voltage that I am going to apply. So with respect to time, this is my current that I am going to apply. So I am going to apply, let us say, some current. So let us make it I, that is equal to Im sine omega t. This is what I am going to apply. So right now, for the time being, let us consider some important instance. So let us say when I am considering omega t equal to 90 degree. So this is the instant when omega t equal to 90 degree, I am applying some current, and value of that current, if I will put omega t equal to 90, what I will get? I will get maximum current, and this peak should be equal to how much? That is equal to In. So if I am applying some current in this particular winding, let us say I will apply some current Im, so that current will responsible to generate some flux, and that flux we can say that that is equal to phi s. Okay, try to understand it very carefully. Okay, this is very important theory and very frequently asking your examination that why induction motor cannot produce a rotating magnetic field. Okay, so now right now what I am assuming, let us say my time will be omega t equal to 90 degree, and I am having some current, let us say Im, that will produce some flux, let us say phi s, or you can say that psi s. Okay, for my lecture so many time I will make the mistake. So let me tell you, I will use the notation for magnetic field sometime phi s, and maybe possible I will use the notation sometime that is equal to psi s. Okay. So now let us consider this instant. Okay. Now omega t will be stopped, so time will be stopped, and now this instant omega t equal to 90 degree, I am going to observe my flux phi s. Exactly at omega t equal to 90 degree, I will try to finding out the value of flux at different instant. So let us say this is my basic reference instant, or you can say that reference space. Okay, where I can consider theta equal to 0. Okay, now I am traveling along with the space. Okay, let us consider this instant, that is, let us say theta. Okay, my theta equal to 90 degree. This is my, let us say, theta that is equal to 180 degree. This is my, let us say, theta that is equal to 270 degree. Okay, let us say theta equal to 0. We will actually observe one particular flux quantity at this instant. So let us say we will sit over here. So for example, let us say Janmai is sitting over here. So Janmai is sitting over here and observing the flux. Let us say theta equal to 90, we will choose one another students. My favorite student, let us say Harnish. Harnish got choose another
Sir, he is
student at theta equal to 180 degree. So let us say Samir. Okay, Samir is sitting over here. And let us say Pritesh is actually observing the flux at this instant. Okay. So let us say time will be stopped. Right now time is stopped. Janma is sitting over here and he is observing the flux. Ernest is sitting over here. He is observing the flux. Samir is sitting over here and he is observing the flux. Pritesh is sitting over here and he is observing flux at here. So let us say what Janma can observe. Janma can observe that, sir, right now the current is maximum and I am observing that the flux is maximum. Okay, so Janma is observing right now that flux value is very maximum. Or you can say that, okay, whatever the Janma is observing, exactly opposite, Samir is observing that, Janma is observing that, sir, flux is actually leaving towards me. Samir is saying that fluxes are actually entering towards me. So if I am saying that this is observing the end pole, then it is observing S pole. And reverse is, let us say Janma is observing S pole, then Samir is observing end pole at any time. So it means that this is, let us say, the place theta equal to 0 degree. When Janma is observing, let us say, end pole for the time being, then you can say that at theta equal to 180 degree, what actually a Samir is observing exactly opposite that, sir, I am observing reverse of that. Okay, what about the Harnis? Harnis is observing that, sir, no, I cannot observe any kind of flux because I am exactly at 90 degree. If somebody, let us say Janmai and Samir, if I put somebody between the Janmai and let us say Harnish, what he can observe? He can also observe the flux, but not exactly like Janmai. Okay, so magnitude of that particular instant, let us say theta equal to 45 degree, and let us say I am sitting over here, and if I am observing, I am also observing the flux, but the magnitude of flux that I am going to observe, that is less as compared to Janmai. The conclusion is what? The thing is that at this point, I will get the maximum flux. And when I am traveling along this direction, theta, after some time my flux will be 0. Then again it will be reversed. And at this instant, okay, exactly opposite to this theta equal to 0, this theta equal to 180 degree, what I will observe? I will observe opposite flux, right? So it means that if I am going to plot the curve for my flux value, then I can observe that this is my theta. This is the instant when theta equal to 0, Janmai was observing the maximum flux. This is the instant when theta equal to 90 degree, Harnish was observing the 0 flux. This is theta equal to 180 degree, when Samir was observing exactly opposite to your Janmai flux. Right? When theta equal to 270 degree, this is the instant Pritesh was also observing the same thing. Ernest is observing the 0 flux, Pritesh is also observing the 0 flux. If I am considering, let us say, another instant, let us say this is theta equal to 360 degree. After 360 degree, I will travel, and if I will ask again the Janmai, what is your status? He is saying that your flux is maximum right now. So it means that I can cover this instant. So this is what theta equal to various values of theta, what you can observe. So you can observe various values of flux. So this is your flux, okay, and this flux has some maximum value that is equal to, let us say, some value that is equal to phi n. Now let us say there is one problem. The thing is that here there are two variables. The first variable is the space variable, okay. I am traveling across this and I will ask each and everyone, what is the status of Janmai? Janmai says that this is the flux. I will travel again and I will ask some another student, what is the status? He is saying that, sir, I am observing this much amount of flux. I will travel again and I will ask another student, what is your status? He is saying that I am observing this much flux. So let us proceed and we will go again. I will ask the Samir, what is your status? So Samir is saying that, say, I am observing the flux, but the only problem is that whatever the observation done by the Janmai, I am exactly feeling opposite to this. If Janmai is observing that the flux is leaving, Samir is observing that flux is entering. So if flux is entering, I am considering it the negative pole. So whatever the Janmai is observing, Samir observing exactly opposite to it. And then again I will travel and I will ask each and every one student. Okay, and then I will plot, and my plot would be like this. This is what the plot of flux exactly for right now. I am plotting this by considering my omega t equal to 90 degrees. This is very important, right? We have start our lecture by considering my time has been stopped. That is equal to what? Omega t equal to 90. Okay, वक्त रुका हुआ है, समय अभी ठहरा हुआ है. Now let us say time will be changed, and let us say after some time what happens that your current will reduce some magnitude. Are you agree with me? Because this is also moving. Time will be changed. So let us say this particular supply voltage will change its magnitude. So now what will happen? As your magnitude is going to be changed, so it means that what about now I will travel. Let us say I will travel again with theta. Okay, now again let us say this is instead of 90, let us say another interval, let us say omega t equal to let us say 120 degree. At omega t equal to 120 degree, if I will ask the Janmay, what you are observing? Then Janmay is saying that sir, right now also flux is actually traveling along this direction, but the problem is that the previous instant I was observing the flux, and right now I'm observing the flux. The difference is that right now the magnitude of flux is slightly decreased. Okay. Similarly, if I'm asking about the Samir is having the same observation. The observation is that sir, I am also feeling that the flux is entering, but the magnitude of flux is slightly lesser than this. So let me draw the waveform. So this is the what actually I can obtain for omega t, that is equal to, let us say this is for omega t equal to 120 degree. Okay, let us say time will be passed again, and after some time let us say omega t equal to 150 degree. At omega t equal to 150 degree, the current that you provide to your motor is reduced, right? And when current is reduced, definitely flux is reduced. So now if I am asking about the Janmay, what you are observing? He was again with the same phenomena that sir, actually current is, I am feeling that the magnet, or you can say that the magnetic field or flux having some further reduction in your magnitude. Okay. What about the Samir? Samir is observing opposite. If some fellow, let us say me, I was observing here, then whatever the Janmay is observing, I will observe slightly lesser. So it means that if I will plot, then what I can plot that this is what I can observe. This is for omega t, that is equal to 150 degree. Let us say, if I am saying that what you can observe at omega t equal to 180 degree, at omega t equal to 180 degree, current is 0. So it means that if I am not providing any kind of current, what is the status of flux? Flux is also 0, because ultimately your flux is actually generated because of the response or because of the current that you are applying. So if I am not applying any kind of current, what you can observe? You can observe a straight line. Now let us say time will further pass. Okay, if time will further pass, let us say if I will take another instant, instead of let us say 180, if I will observe what about omega t equal to 210. So omega t equal to 210, it means that now current will change its polarity. Agree with me? Now this current, previously it was entering, now what will happen? Current is actually leaving from this terminal. Okay, so it means that the all things will going to be changed. Instead of this dot, they all are become cross, and instead of this cross, all become dot. And now if I will ask the Janmay, what you are observing? Then Janmay is observing that sir, previously current was actually, this is what the direction of flux, but now I am observing that flux is actually entering towards me. So it means that what Janmay is observing right now, that he is observing that at theta equal to 0, he is observing that some negative flux. Okay, if I will ask some another person, he is also observing flux is entering. But the thing is that they all are actually having some flux observation. But whatever the Janmay is observing, this person is observing slightly lesser. This person is observing slightly lesser. Then what Samir will observe exactly opposite to that. What Pritesh is observing, it is observing 0. If some fellow is sitting over here, he is observing this flux. If some fellow is sitting over here, he is observing this flux. If some fellow is sitting over here, he is observing this flux. And Janmay is observing this flux. Now let me consider another instant. Let us say instead of omega t equal to 120 degree, if I will, omega t equal to this is what? 210. Okay, so what about 240? So if I will ask Janmay what you are observing, so Janmay is observing negative flux as respect to your initial status. Okay, so he's observing some negative, sorry, or you can say that flux is entering, okay, in this particular direction. So Janma is saying that the flux is observing, but the magnitude as compared to previous one, now it is going to be increase. Okay, this is the status of Janmai. What I am observing the same thing, but the thing, whatever the Janmai is observing, I am observing slightly lesser. Okay, so I am observing slightly lesser. That is me. Okay, so this is me. I am observing slightly lesser. If I will ask about Harnish, Harnish says, no, sir, my status will be same. I am not observing anything. If I am asking about the Samir, Samir is also observing the reverse of what? The reverse of what Janmai is observing. So whatever the Janmai is observing, Samir is observing opposite to that. And similarly, if I will ask another student and if I will plot, I will get this type of curve. Now let us say we are considering another instant. Let us say omega t equal to 270 degree. Okay. So at omega t equal to 270 degree, this is my instant. Omega t equal to 270 degree. The current is exactly opposite to your peak, previous peak. That is a positive peak. So now current is at negative peak. So what you are applying? You are applying minus Im. So if you are applying minus Im, so it means that the thing is that the current was actually leaving from this and I am applying minus Im. So flux will be negative. Okay, so when we have started this. If now I am asking the Janmai, what is your status? So he is saying that, sir, your flux is a maximum value, and but it is not a positive flux. This is my negative flux. Okay. Similarly, I can also observe the same thing, but the thing is that I can observe slightly lesser amount of flux. So if I will stand at omega, if I will sitting over here and if I am observing, I will observe this much amount of flux. If some fellow is sitting over here, then he can observe this much amount of flux. What about Harnish? Harnish is observing zero flux. What about the Samir? Samir is observing this much amount of flux. Okay. What about Pritesh? Pritesh is observing this much flux. If some fellow is sitting over here, he can observe this much flux. What about Janmai? Janmai is observing this much flux. So this is what a flux distribution in the space with respect to time. This is my time axis and this is my space axis. Now let us try to understand what exactly, this is the point when Janmai was sitting over here and he is continuously observing. Okay, so this time is equal to how much? This time equal to how much? That is equal to 20 millisecond. Okay, so Janmai, what Janmai is actually observing here, let me draw here. Janmai is observing that flux is continuous. If I will start with this reference point, Janmai is observing there is no flux, then flux is increased slightly, then flux is increased further slightly, and after 5 milliseconds, flux is actually attained a maximum peak. Right? So Janmai is observing there is no flux, flux is increased slightly, then flux is further increased slightly. After 5 milliseconds, flux is maximum. Then flux will start reduce, and after let us say 10 milliseconds, the flux is zero again. Then after 10 milliseconds, flux will be negative. After 15 milliseconds, flux will be a maximum, but in negative direction. After 15 milliseconds, flux will start to reduce further, and exactly at 2 milliseconds, it will become zero again. So Janmai is observing this type of behavior, that flux is continuously changing, right? Janmai is observing here. If I am sitting over here, I am observing that this much amount of flux is continuously increasing. What about Harnish? Harnish's observation is zero. Let us say, what about the Samir? Samir is also observing the same thing. Okay, the only difference is that the polarity that Janmai is observing and polarity that Samir is observing, that is the reverse. But the thing, they all are observing that flux is continuously changing. What about the Pritesh? Pritesh is not observing anything. What about Janmai? Janmai is observing that flux is increase, decrease continuously. So it means that flux magnitude is continuously changing. Remember, flux magnitude is continuously changing, but the problem is that your flux is stationary. It is not rotating flux, right? In three-phase induction motor, what you are getting rotating magnetic flux. But what you are observing here, you are observing a pulsating flux. Okay, so this is what Janmai is observing. This is what Harnish is observing. This is what Samir is observing. This is what Janmai is observing. They all are observing that, sir, there is some pulsation in the flux. Okay, though they all are observing that the flux is varying. Okay, they all are observing that the flux is varying, but this flux is not not a rotating flux. So you will not get no rotating flux. They all are observing pulsating flux. This is a very important point. Okay, they all are observing no rotating flux, pulsating flux, and they all are stationary. So how can you represent this particular flux in a mathematical form? So let me write down one equation that what Janmai is observing. What Janmai is observing? Janmai is observing that flux phi is equal to. अगर मैं जन्मय को पूछ रहा हूँ, जन्मय, can you write down the mathematical expression for this? Then Janmay say that yes sir, this is nothing but equal to phi m sin omega t. So Janmay, now Janmay is right. He is observing phi m sin omega t. Okay, when omega t equal to 0, what Janmay is observing? 0. When omega t equal to 90 degree, what Janmay is observing? Maximum flux. Omega t equal to 270 degree, what Janmay is observing? Omega t equal to 270, what Janmay is observing? It is observing negative flux, right?
Negative.
What about the 360 degree Janmay is, sorry, at 270 degree Janmay was observing at 270 degree Janmay is observing maximum negativity. At 360 degree Janmay is observing 0. So Janmay is saying that no sir, flux is actually equal to phi m sin omega t. But if I am asking about the Harnish, what you are observing? You are observing phi m sin omega t. Harnish says no sir, I am not observing anything. So it means that this expression is true for Janmay, but not true for Harnish. So let me write down, or let me add one more variable that is equal to phi m sin omega t. If I will ask the Harnish, can I say that this is phi m sin omega t into cos of theta? Now for the Harnish said that yes sir, because for the Harnish theta equal to what? For the Harnish theta equal to what? 90 degrees. So theta equal to 90 degree. So what Harnish is observing? Cos 90 degree. So Harnish is observing no flux. So Harnish said that yes sir, I am now happy because this equation satisfied my position. If I am asking the Janmay, now this is actually satisfying your requirement. Janmay said yes sir, because for me theta equal to 0. So this is 0 and I am observing what? Phi m sin omega t. This is also valid for me. If I am sitting over here, okay, let us say I am sitting over here. So Suhail is actually sitting over here. Okay, this is straight line and this is my 45 degree. So whether it is actually applicable for me also, yes, cos 45. So I will get cos 45, it means slightly reduction. Okay, it is less than 1. And what time I am also observing phi sin omega t. But the thing is that I will observe the magnitude that is slightly lesser than the what that is observed by Janmay. This is also valid. Now let us ask about the Samir. Samir should be observed the same thing that Janmay was observing. The only thing is that they both should have opposite polarity. So if I will put cos of 180 degree, definitely this is minus sign. So it means that if Janmay is saying that this is phi m sin omega t, at the same time Samir is saying that sir no, this is not phi m sin omega t, this is minus phi m sin omega t. So that could also satisfied by putting this cos theta. So this is your time varying quantity, and this is your you can say that the space varying quantity. So by doing this, we are actually including the two equations, or you can say that you are actually satisfying two variables, that is omega t वर्क के साथ जो बदलाव आ रहा है एंड एज फार एज द स्पेस के साथ जो बदलाव आ रहा है. आप जो ट्रैवल कर रहे हो इस यहाँ से यहाँ सभी का फ्लक्स जो आप चेक कर रहे हो. सो दिस टू क्वांटिटी कैन बी represented in one single equation. It means that I can say that my phi that is equal to phi m sin omega t into into cos theta. Okay, now I know that if I am having a, let us say 2 sin A into cos B, if I am having expression that 2 sin A cos B, then I can say that that is nothing but equal to sin A plus B, and I can say that plus sin A minus B. This is your trigonometric expression. 2 sin A cos B is nothing but equal to sin A plus B plus sin A minus B. So can I say that this is where now for if I am correlate these two things, what I will get, this is sin omega t. So A is nothing but equal to omega t in this case. B is nothing but equal to theta in this case. Note out this is phi m and this is twice. So if I will divide by and multiply with 2, so what I will get, that is phi m by 2. So if I'm writing down this equation flux phi, then flux phi is equal to, you can say that is equal to phi m by 2 sine omega t plus theta plus phi m by 2 sine omega t minus theta. This is very important expression. Your flux phi in case of induction, or you can say that single phase induction motor, flux phi is phi m sine omega t cos theta, can be represented as flux phi is equal to phi m by 2 sine omega t plus theta and phi m by 2 sine omega t minus theta. It means that your single phase flux is actually divided in two parts. Okay, this one is known as forward rotating magnetic field and this one is known as backward rotating magnetic field. So it means that this expression, if I will plot, this is phi m by 2 sine omega t plus phi. So this will generate one flux in the machine that is known as a phi m, forward magnetic field. And this flux will be known as, let us say, backward magnetic field. If you want to understand this, you are having, let us say, some instant. Okay, let me try to explain this in a very detailed manner. Okay, so I will conclude that what we actually concluded previously, that the flux is actually divided into part, forward magnetic field and backward rotating magnetic. This thing we can understood by a mathematical expression. Now let me try to evaluate this at different time instant. Okay, so now we are actually stop our rotation. Okay, space rotation is stop. It means that now I am observing everything with theta equal to 0, or you can say that I will ask everything about, or I will continuously ask the Janmai what is the status. So Janmai is saying that, sir, right now what I am observing there is a two flux, phi m by 2 and phi m by 2. It means that the resultant flux should be equal to how much? So I am observing, sir, one flux that is equal to phi m. Is it clear? Let us say I have to draw here. If I will ask the Janmai, this is my time axis, okay, and if I will ask the Janmai, what you are observing? Janmai says that, sir, I will observe one flux that is having a phi m. Okay, after 5 milliseconds, I will ask, what Janmai, what you are observing? So let us say Janmai is saying that, sir, now I am observing something like this. After some time, if I will ask Janmai, what you are observing? Janmai says that I am observing. After some time, if I will ask Janmai, what you are observing? Janmai says that, sir, flux is reduced. After some instant, if I will ask Janmai, what you are observing? Janmai is saying that it is 0. After some time, Janmai is observing some negative flux. After some time, Janmai is observing some more negative flux. After, it is more negative. And after that, after exactly how much millisecond? After 10 milliseconds, Janmai is observing maximum peak positive. After 10 milliseconds, Janmai is observing maximum negative peak. So this thing should also be represented, or should be satisfied this equation. Then and then only we can say that our this assumption, okay, this flux is actually made up of two things, phi m by 2, phi m by 2 is valid. So now let us start to analyze this circuit. So at omega t equal to 0, what I am assuming? I am assuming that there is two flux. Okay, one flux is rotating. Okay, one phi m by 2 is rotating in this direction. One phi m by 2 is rotating in this direction. The thing is that whatever I am assuming, that should be actually satisfied these equations, or that should be satisfied what Janmai is observing. So let me try. So at omega t equal to 0, okay, omega t equal to 0 means let me try to evaluate, let me try to clear this point. Okay, right now I'm observing this instant as omega t equal to 0, when I'm getting a maximum positive peak. Okay. Okay, so at this omega t equal to 0, Janmai is observing phi m. My mathematical expression says that there is two magnetic field. This is what Janmai is observing, maximum flux. And what I am considering there is two maximum flux which are having a magnitude that is phi m by 2, phi m by 2. So if these two flux are there, so these two flux are right now sitting in this direction. So what could be the resultant? Resultant will be double. Or right now, let us assume this is the instant, or this is the place where Janmai is sitting right now. Okay, ये Janmai यहाँ पर बैठा हुआ है and observe कर रहा है. So दो half flux, मैं mathematical expression से बोल रहा हूँ दो half flux. So resultant Janmai को क्या दिखेगा? That is equal to phi m. So Janmai को क्या दिखेगा? ये दिखेगा. Is it clear? Now let us discuss about at omega t equal to 30 degree. मैं क्या assume कर रहा हूँ? I'm assuming that there will be a two rotating magnetic field, okay, that are flowing in opposite direction. So after 30 degree, this will travel 30-degree angle, and this will also travel 30-degree angle. So let me draw over here. So what actually my mathematics says that there will be a two flux, that is omega t equal to 30 degree. Okay. So there will be a two flux. Okay. एक यहाँ से travel किया इस direction में, एक ने travel किया इस direction में. So after omega t equal to 30 degree, this will make angle, let us say some angle 30 degree, and this is some angle 30 degree. So what could be my resultant flux? So if I will add these two things, okay, I will add these two things. This is my resultant flux. So let me draw resultant flux phi with this diagram. So this phi, the value of phi you can calculate, that is nothing but equal to phi m by 2. Okay, and there are two flux, so you can multiply with 2, and angle that is equal to cos of 30 degree. So it means that this is cos 30, that is 0.866. So if I am not wrong, this is 0.866 phi m. Okay, so it means that after 30 degree, this flux, one flux was rotating in this direction, another flux was rotating in this direction. What Janma is observing? Janma is observing this 0.866. Okay, and our mathematical expression also proves the same thing. What mathematical expression says that if there will be a two magnetic field which are actually rotating in opposite direction, the resultant will be like this. Now let us consider the another instant. Okay, third instant, let us say omega t equal to another instant, let us say 60 degree. So it means that this will travel 60 degree. So my one rotating magnetic field will travel 60 degree. Another rotating magnetic field is also traveling 60 degree. So my resultant value of resultant flux should be equal to this much only. Okay, so flux is further reduced, and if I will express with your or resultant value of phi r, resultant value of phi r is nothing but there are two flux, so phi m by 2 into 2, and the angle between them, that is equal to cos of 60 degree. So what I will get? Cos 60 is equal to what? 1/2. So what I am observing? I will observing this is phi m by 2. Okay, so it means that after some interval, let us say 60 degree, my flux will be reduced. So here Janma is observing that the flux was maximum. Okay, here Janma is observing initially flux is maximum, then it is slightly reduced. Okay, and exactly at 90 degree, what will happen? Exactly at 90 degree, what will happen? There will be a one flux phi m by 2. There will be another flux phi m by 2. So phi m by 2 and phi m by 2. So resultant could be equal to how much? That must be equal to 0. Okay, because this is phi m by 2 in this direction, this is phi m by 2 in this direction. It means that if I am traveling from this instant to this instant, then this instant to this instant, what I am observing? What I am observing? I am observing with respect to, or if I am saying that what Janma is observing, Janma is observing that there will be a one flux having magnitude phi m, then it is gradually decrease, it will reach to 0.866, then it is reached to 0.5, then it is reached to 90. So Janma is observing maximum flux, then decrement of flux, then further decrement of flux, then further decrement of. So Janma is observing this thing. And what actually mathematics says that, okay, with respect to mathematics says that there will be a two flux. Okay, there will be a two flux. One flux is rotating in this direction, one flux is rotating in this direction. So what Janma is observing, there will be a one flux, let us say at 90 degree, there will be a one flux at this direction, there will be a one flux at this direction, but as a result of this, zero flux will be recorded here. So at this instant, there will be actually, as a mathematics, you can say that one flux is actually traveling in this direction, another flux is traveling in this direction. But if you observe or if you record that resultant magnitude, then what Janma is observing, that is what Janma is observing, continuously varying flux. You got the point? Let me draw the another instant. Let us say at omega t equal to 180 degree. So this is now my flux will again traveling in this direction. This will again traveling in this. So at omega t equal to 180 degree, these two will be settled down here. Okay, this is my phi m by 2. This is my phi m by 2. What resultant value that I can obtain? So resultant what it will be like this only. There will be exactly negative. So this is what Janma is observing. Okay, this is at omega t equal to 0. What Janma is observing? This much amount of flux. At omega t equal to 80 degree, what he is observing? He is observing this much flux. So flux observed at this instant and flux observed at this instant. They both are exactly opposite. And what is the time duration, this is 0 degree, this is 180 degree. In terms of time between this to this, how much time will be actually consumed? That is equal to 10 milliseconds, right? Again at 270 degree, I can observe, let us say at 270 degree, this is 180 degree. Then at 270 degree, I will come again at the same thing. Okay, so this way, okay, ये मैं draw नहीं कर रहा हूँ. Okay, at 270 degree, this will be having a, let us say 270 degree means this is your main flux will be traveling. This is your main flux will be traveling, and resultant will be equal to 0. So at omega t equal to 270 degree, Janma is observing 0, and mathematically we can say that two flux is having opposite polarity which are rotating in a phase. So this is what there will be a two things. Remember, we have actually cleared this thing in a two way. This is the first by using a mathematics. Mathematics says that if you are having phi m sin omega t cos theta, you can represent that phi m by 2 sin omega t plus theta and phi m by 2 sin omega t minus theta. Okay, this is what as a mathematical expression. We have also observed with our analysis part, we have observed that there will be a two flux. So at omega t equal to 0, this is my resultant position. At omega t equal to 1 degree, I will get this much position. Okay, sorry, I will get this much position. Omega t equal to 2 degree, this much position. Omega t equal to 30 degree, 0.866. So if I will calculate for every omega t equal to 0 to 270 degree, what I can observe? I can observe the flux like this. Okay, this is omega t equal to 0. Then I will calculate omega t equal to 1. Then I will take the different value. But ultimately, there will be a one pulsating flux. So this pulsating flux, okay, this pulsating flux can be represented as a single, you can say that a two revolving magnetic field that will be responsible, okay, to generate this pulsating field. So you can say that the two revolving magnetic field which are having magnitude that is half of the original, or you can say that half of the original peak of the magnetic field, then it will be equal to a single pulsating field. Is it clear to all of you up to this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, what we have observing that, we have observed that in this particular machine or in this particular case, what will happen? The thing is that you can observe the one rotating magnetic field. Okay, mathematics says that there will be a two rotating magnetic field. Okay, in the machines are exist. In case of single phase induction machine, you are having a two rotating magnetic field. One is in forward direction, and second one is known as in backward direction. So it means that, can I say that there will be a two rotating magnetic field which are having a speed that is synchronous speed. So it means that if I will draw the speed torque characteristic, okay. So let us say this is my speed axis and this is my torque axis. So let me draw the speed torque characteristic of three-phase induction motor. This is what my speed torque characteristic of three-phase induction motor when I am having one rotating magnetic field. So this is because of, let us say, forward magnetic field. Forward magnetic field means in induction motor you can say that you are having, let us say, winding sequence that is A, B and C. So that winding sequence will generate one rotating magnetic field. Okay, that is in forward direction. If I will change the direction, then what will happen? If I will change the phase sequence, okay, instead of ABC, if I will connect A, C and B, then exactly what happens? The thing is that I will get okay, what I will get? I will get one more magnetic field, okay, and this is my speed torque characteristic for what? You can say that reverse motor, or you can say that reverse magnetic field. Okay, and this reverse magnetic field is actually, in case of three-phase machine, what you can say that is you change the phase sequence. That is, you connect, instead of ABC, you connect ACB and D. Speed torque characteristic because of your positive magnetic field, or you can say that forward magnetic field. This is your speed torque characteristic for your reverse, or you can say that reverse magnetic field or a backward magnetic field, and you can say that when you are changing your phase sequence. And this is your torque, and this is your speed axis. Now, let me tell you at this point, what is your speed? This is your speed axis. So can I say that at this point, okay, at this point, my speed equal to 0. Okay, very important point अभी आ रहा है देखना. At this point, my speed is 0. Okay, what is my torque? My torque is actually a resultant of a two magnetic field. Because of what? There will be a two magnetic field. That two magnetic field will generate a 2 EMF. That 2 EMF will generate a two current in the rotor. That two rotor current will generate two magnetic field in the rotor. Is it clear? So result, that's why that will produce a two field and that will generate a two torque. So it means that forward magnetic field will generate a forward torque. Okay, and backward magnetic field will generate a backward magnetic torque. And the torque produced by a forward magnetic field and torque produced by a reverse magnetic field, both are exactly opposite. It means that the resultant torque, this is very important, resultant torque, let me write down some word, let us say resultant torque at the starting, your TF minus TB, that is equal to 0. And that's why you can say that your induction motor cannot produce a starting torque at 0 speed. Remember, this is a very important point. Okay, what I am saying that at starting only. Okay, after starting, let us say if I will allow the motor to start with any external means. Let us say I am having let us say I will put slightly push or I will apply external force to that machine. Then what will happen? Resultant torque is only 0 at starting. Let me draw the resultant torque. Resultant torque means what? I have to subtract forward minus backward. So let me subtract this. So I will get this much. Okay. So this is my resultant torque. Okay, somewhat like this. I will get resultant torque, and then my resultant torque will be decreased, and this is my resultant. This resultant torque I have obtained by just subtracting these two quantities. Okay, I'm just subtracting this minus this minus this, and I will plot, then I will get. So this is my net torque that I can obtain. Okay, but at starting, if I'm observing, there is no torque. At starting, there is no torque. But if I will put, let us say, if I will put or if I will apply or some push in my forward direction, then there will be a net force are available. Okay, if I will let us say push in reverse direction, then motor will start rotating in this direction. So you can observe this phenomena in your train, or you are having and let us say a fan at your home. Okay, it may be possible it cannot be able to start, but when you apply a light push, okay, then it will start. The reason is that maybe possible at starting you cannot obtain the starting torque, but whenever you apply an external force, then there will be a net torque, and because of that net torque, you can able to generate. Okay, so let me summarize this thing. In induction motor, there will be a forward flux. Okay, that forward flux will rotate at synchronous speed, and because of that, now I'm just applying a induction motor principle. Okay, that field is rotated with the synchronous speed that will cut the rotor conductor. So EMF is induced. Okay, so let me write down some EMF is induced in the rotor, but because of what? Forward magnetic field. That will generate some current in rotor. Okay, let me write down F because of forward magnetic field. That will generate some flux. So let me write down phi Rm. That flux will responsible to generate the torque. Okay, this phi F and this resultant. The resultant of these two flux. Okay, torque is actually a resultant of forward flux because in the stator and forward flux in the rotor. So it means that difference will be responsible to generate forward torque. Okay, similarly, backward flux is also rotating with the synchronous speed ns. The only thing is that direction is reversed. That will also generate, or you can say that EMF in the rotor. Okay, that will also generate some current in the rotor. That will also generate some flux, okay, in the rotor, and that will also produce some torque in the machine. Okay, so there will be a two torque, TF and TB. But remember, at the starting, this torque and this torque, okay, TF minus TB, that is equal to 0. And that's why your induction machine cannot start at starting condition. So still now we have not actually observed this thing. Okay, so let me draw here. What is the position at any instant? Let us say at any instant omega t. Okay, we are considering, let us say at omega t equal to 0. If this is my stator flux, okay, if this is my stator flux, and I am having a rotor conductor. Now, because of this rotating magnetic field, this conductor will experience, or there will be an induced EMF in the conductor, and because of that, current will be flowing. Now, induced EMF will be actually following which rule? Lenz's rule. Okay, this will always try to oppose which actually produce it. So, what will happen now? As a result of this, if this is dot, some cross current will be there. Okay, if this is cross, some dot current will be like this, and this will try to oppose the main flux. So it means that some flux will be produced. Okay, so there will be some rotor flux. Let us assign some name. Okay, this is the direction of psi S. This is the direction of psi R. And what is torque? Torque is equal to, let me write down. What is torque? We have already discussed so many times. Torque is nothing but equal to psi S, psi R, and sine of delta. So psi S, psi R, and sine of delta, where delta is angle between psi S and psi R. So right now, this is the direction of psi S. Okay, and as per the Lenz's law, to oppose this particular main flux, there will be one resultant flux is generated on the rotor. So this is your psi R. Okay, this is static. Because of this statically induced EMF, some magnetic field is generated on the downward direction. Okay, because this is what? This will try to oppose the main flux. Because of that, EMF is induced. Okay, that is what Lenz's law says, that this EMF is induced because of this main flux. So EMF and ultimately current will be flowing in such a way that it will oppose the cause, because of it will produce. So it will flowing in this direction. So psi R will be in this direction. Psi S will be in this direction. So if you want to calculate what is torque, the angle between psi S and psi R equal to 180 degrees. So delta equal to 180 degrees. So if you put in this equation, what you will get? Your net torque equal to 0. And that's why your inductor motor is not self-starting. This is all about the induction motor double field revolving.